The galactic audience roared as the vast arena doors clanged open. Through the swirling mist stepped two figures, one massive, one seemingly fragile. The contrast couldn't have been more stark. Gorok, the defending champion, stood nearly 9 feet tall. His chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the arena lights, 6 arms flexing with the strength that had crushed 37 previous challengers. The Thrakari species was known throughout the galaxy for their natural armor and incredible combat prowess. Across from him, the human girl appeared almost absurd. Emma stood barely 5.5 feet tall, her frame lean but athletic. Her hands were wrapped in simple combat tape, her hair tied back in a practical bun. The betting odds had reached astronomical levels against her. No human had ever lasted more than a minute in the grand tournament. Another warm-up match, it seems, Gorok's translator crackled through the arena speakers. The soft-skins grow desperate. The referee, a floating orb of energy, announced the rules in 17 languages simultaneously. Traditional combat, no weapons, fight until submission or incapacitation. Emma said nothing, her eyes studying Gorok's movements. She had spent months analyzing footage of his previous matches, understanding the biomechanics of his species. Most challengers focused on his obvious strengths, his armor, his reach, his multiple arms. But Emma had noticed something else. The bell chimed. Gorok immediately launched forward, all 6 arms swinging in a coordinated assault. His species' legendary speed meant most opponents couldn't even track the movements. The crowd gasped as his fists created sonic booms in the air. Emma moved. Time seemed to slow as she shifted her weight, her body flowing like water between the devastating strikes. Years of martial arts training had taught her that the most powerful attacks often left the biggest openings. She watched Gorok's center of balance, the minute adjustments in his stance that telegraphed each movement. His third arm swept toward her head. Instead of dodging backward, Emma stepped inside the arc of the punch, getting impossibly close. This was the moment she had trained for. Her hand, small and seemingly insignificant, moved with surgical precision. She struck the junction point where Gorok's exoskeleton plates met, a vulnerability she had discovered in her studies. Her fingers found the nerve cluster that paralyzed the Thrakari's motor functions when properly stimulated. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Gorok's eyes widened in shock as his entire body locked up. His 6 arms froze mid-swing, his powerful legs buckled, and he crashed to the arena floor like a toppled statue. The impact sent tremors through the ground, causing several smaller species in the front rows to scramble for safety. 3 seconds had passed since the bell had chimed. The arena fell into stunned silence. Even the commentators, known for their rapid-fire analysis, found themselves speechless. The referee orb circled the scene, scanning Gorok's vital signs before declaring him conscious but paralyzed, technically a victory for Emma. She stood quietly as the crowd erupted into chaos. Some species cheered wildly, having placed improbable bets on the human. Others demanded explanations, their translators creating a cacophony of alien languages. The betting algorithms crashed entirely, unable to process the outcome. In the VIP section, the tournament organizers scrambled to understand what had happened. Slow-motion replays showed Emma's movement over and over. But even with advanced analysis, most couldn't comprehend the precision required for such a technique. "Impossible," muttered the head organizer, a crystalline being whose species prided itself on logical thinking. No human should possess such knowledge of Thrakari physiology. But Emma had spent her life defying expectations. As Earth's first representative in the grand tournament, she had known she couldn't rely on brute strength. Instead, she had studied every species, learned their weaknesses, mastered techniques that most considered theoretical at best. The paralysis would wear off in approximately 10 minutes, she calculated. Gorok would recover fully with no permanent damage. As medics rushed onto the field, Emma walked toward him, kneeling beside the fallen champion. "You fought well," she said softly, knowing his translator would pick up her words. "Your species' combat techniques are remarkable." "Thank you," For the match. Gorok's eyes, the only part of him that could still move, showed a mixture of shock and respect. No opponent had ever thanked him before. As Emma left the arena, the implications of her victory rippled through the galaxy. Suddenly, every species began reconsidering their assumptions about humans. If one small human girl could defeat the tournament's reigning champion in 3 seconds, what else were they capable of? The grand tournament would never be the same. And in the days that followed, as footage of the match spread across countless worlds, a new phrase entered the galactic lexicon: never underestimate the humans. Emma returned to her quarters, already studying footage of her next opponent. There were still 7 rounds to go, and she had a galaxy to surprise.